What's up, guys? Welcome to Behind the Build, spot where we talk about the behind the scenes of B is for Build, my channel, and other channels that focus on building stuff. I am about to get some food, having a beer, and I wanted to tell you guys about the insurance fiasco on the boat and kind of let you guys know where we stand. I want to give you a quick background story of my history with the insurance company that I'm working with. It's all State Farm. I don't recommend working with State Farm. Before the boat sank, we had all of our vehicles insured with State Farm. It was about 30 plus vehicles and different properties like the boat and houses and stuff like that. So my premiums, my bill every month for insurance was about $3,000, roughly $3,000 that I was paying them. And for years, nothing happened. Basically nothing happened. And one day we had a couple vehicles that had to stay out front of our glass shop, and they got vandalized. They got all the catalytic converters cut off of them and some other damages done too. So I called my insurance company. I said, what should I do? You guys know I'm a mechanic. I can just fix the cats. Is it going to raise my rates? Blah, 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 blah. And they said, no. You should always make a claim. You didn't do anything wrong. You should always make a claim. So I made a claim. There had to be 3 separate claims because it was 3 separate vehicles, whatever. I didn't know anything at the time about it. So I made 3 claims, went through all the process, went through everything with the police, proved my side of the story and everything like that. And they said, okay. And they owed me in the end about $4,000 after all my deductibles and stuff. They needed to cut me a check for $4,000. Which I actually ended up never taking, leaving the claims open, because they then, after they're like, okay, we owe you $4,000, which remember, that's like 1.3 months of my premiums. They canceled me. They canceled me claiming that I had too many claims in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. Too many things had happened. And I was uninsurable for vehicles through State Farm. And I was like, okay, I would understand if I had one vehicle and I had, these 3 claims that we just had, and then a claim for maybe a year before we had a roadside assistance claim and we had something else. I would understand if that was the case if I had one vehicle, but I insure 30 plus vehicles with you guys. There's got to be some sort of an understanding, because over those years, say it was 3 years, I was paying $36,000 a year in insurance. So that's like around $110,000 I had paid to them. And then when it was time for them to pay me $4,000, they decided, well, we're canceling you. So they still owed me the money, right? I never took the money though, because then those are still open claims and they never actually went on my record and they didn't go on my kind of driving record. So I was able to switch insurance companies and get away from State Farm. I ended up also saving. When I switched off of State Farm, I saved a significant amount of money. I think, I know I pay much less. I think 4 times less now. So that is the company that we're dealing with, and that's my history with them. So let's move on to the boat situation. The boat was insured, and I mentioned that I felt bad about the kind of the way the situation went down. The boat was insured for $40,000. That's because the day I bought it, I really wanted to go use it, and I did not want to deal with an appraiser or somebody to put an appraised value on it. So since I just bought it for $40,000, the insurance was totally down to just immediately insure it for an assessed value of $40,000. So I think it's fair to say that when I had the boat and it was powered by the diesels and everything, it was a $40,000 boat. Then once we blew up the engine, brought it back in and did all that work on it, the boat was valued at a lot more. I did a rundown. I'd say it's at least worth about $125,000. Also keep in mind the cost of boats, cars, everything during that time skyrocketed after COVID, and stuff was just worth a lot more. So that was my fault. I did not reappraise or readjust the value of my property. I didn't tell the insurance company anything had changed. So we had an agreed upon value on my boat of $40,000. So that is fair. And I'm not upset with the insurance company one bit. I'm upset with myself a lot because I literally said it in a video right here. So I will be calling my insurance company and insuring this boat for a value of about $110,000 to $112,000, given of the new upgrades and the new repowering. That I was going to call the insurance company and change it, and I didn't. I got busy, and that was probably a $60,000 mistake that I made. I think that's got to be one of the largest ones in my life. That's my bad. Now, where I got mad with the insurance company is this. So the boat sinks, the boat goes down. We have this $40,000 of coverage for the boat. That's all it's valued at. So they're like, yeah, you're going to get your $40,000 if we deem the boat is totaled out. And you get to keep the boat, which is cool in a boat, because if it's worth $1 over $40,000, then they pay you your full amount and they let you keep the boat. So it's like, okay, cool. I've got the boat and I've got my $40,000. But then I started getting estimates for the wreck removal, the cost to remove, get the boat out of the water. And it was like close to $10,000 to refloat that boat. And this is where myself and the insurance company started really disagreeing. Now, the boat is sitting in the water I don't legally, so 50 boats in our area went down on the same day because of the same issue. This is a crazy freezing thing. So boat salvage people, they were priced out at a premium. And I told the insurance company that. I said, I can just sit here and I can shop around. But here's the problem. The boat is a huge environmental liability because it had 100 gallons of fuel on board, 100 plus gallons of fuel on board. It's a massive, massive environmental issue. So I could have let the boat sit there and been like, well, I'm just shopping around, and wait till a bunch of the gas spills out, a ton of gas spills out. And then the insurance company has to start kicking in for damages to the marina, damages to the Coast Guard and the EPA and stuff like that. And I think I had a $400,000 minimum there, or maximum there of coverage. And they would then pay to have the boat pulled out of the water. It wouldn't come out of my $40,000. But the marina, very rightfully so, said, Chris, get this boat out of the water right now, or I'm going to do it for you, and I'm just going to bill you. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I don't get a choice of, what to do. And it's rightfully so. We don't want to have the EPA close down the entire marina. The losses would be astronomical. So I had to pay immediately to get the boat up out of the water. Like I said, it was close to $10,000. So now I'm out $10,000. And if I get my $40,000, then I'm only actually getting $30,000 because I have straight up paid. Now I haven't got any money from the insurance company because we're still arguing about paperwork and stuff like that. But anyways, that's where the real rub came in, and why I mentioned in an episode that I was getting really pissed is basically, if I walked away from the boat, if I just pretended that problem hadn't happened and waited until it became a massive environmental disaster, I wouldn't have had to pay that $10,000, and the insurance company would have kicked in and paid it, because my thing is causing a liability damage to the thing, to the marina, to the environment, and then they pay to pull it out. But if I do the right thing and pull it out immediately, like anybody should, before it causes an environmental disaster, they weren't willing to pay any part of that. They weren't willing to pitch in, and they weren't willing to help out. I had wreck removal coverage of like $4,000 because it was calculated at 10% of whatever the value of the boat is. And that was another situation that really pissed me off. I said, why would my agent sell me, insurance on a boat? Sure, it's $40,000 valuation on the boat, but why would any insurance agent that knew what they were doing sell you insurance on a 44-foot long boat and then know nothing about how much wreck removal should cover, and say put only $4,000 of wreck removal valuation on there? That would be like having roadside assistance that's only worth like $100 or something like that. Like, oh, if you need to get towed more than $100, you pay all of it. It just doesn't help you really at all. I mean, so yes, $4,000 does take a little dent out of the 10K, but it's not significant, and it's grossly under-insuring your client, which was me, when you have a 44-foot long boat that weighs 26,000 pounds when it floats or on the dry. I don't know. So anyways, that is the story behind all the insurance craziness that happened. That's why I was frustrated, is because it seemed like if I did the right thing, I was going to lose $6,000 extra dollars. And I did. I did the right thing. We didn't cause an environmental disaster. We didn't shut down the marina. We didn't shut down the river. And it cost me an extra $6,000. So then I canceled my insurance with State Farm and insured the boat with Progressive. And now I have $1 million EPA protection policy, and wreck removal is like up to like $100,000 or some crazy amount. So it's much, much better insured, and it only cost me about $30 a month more to have those super high numbers. So that's the story on why I was a little frazzled and upset with the stuff about the boat. Now, that was when I didn't know if the boat was salvageable. Obviously, now that we have the boat back on the water, it is interesting. I still have to prove that there was over $40,000 of damages on the boat, which won't be hard, honestly. We have quite a lot of bills on different things, from the batteries that sank, the damage that was done to the engines, all the things that need to be replaced as far as screens, ECUs. Yeah, I could rattle it all on and on and on. I mean, we almost went through like $500 of O2 sensors again. So there's a ton of stuff and bills, and then there is, just like irreparable damage to wood and paint in the downstairs that will probably need to be, if we wanted to have it back to 100%, it'll probably need to be replaced in the very long term, and that's a lot of work. So I can definitely rack up a bill of over $40,000 for the insurance company, and then they have to pay me that out. And then we're going to use that money to fund our next boat build. So thank you guys so much for watching a little bit of behind the build. That's the story on the boat as far as insurance. Stay subscribed to this channel. I'm very soon going to be traveling to Florida, and we're going to be filming a lot of behind the build stuff with my different friends out there on the East Coast. We'll see you then. Peace.